Hi, welcome to my video. Today I'll be explaining two market failures I have noticed in Hong Kong. The two externalities I've chosen for this project are a positive consumption externality from the use of e-vehicles and a negative consumption externality from smoking. First, let's talk about the externality from EVs. Effect: EVs do not contribute to pollution on the streets of Hong Kong. They maintain a higher level of air quality whilst reducing greenhouse gas emissions. The use of e-vehicles also contributes to the awareness and development of environmental industries in Hong Kong and around the world. This consumption positively impacts third parties who use the streets and live in the city. Here's my experience with this externality. The Teslas made much less smell on the streets. E-vehicles are just much more pedestrian-friendly than normal gasoline vehicles. This is the market graph I drew for this scenario. As this is a positive consumption externality, marginal social benefit is greater than marginal private benefit. However, because consumers only consider themselves, they consume where MPB equals MPC, which is the equilibrium price and quantity. Without government intervention, they will not consume at the socially optimal price and quantity. This also causes deadweight loss, noted by the green triangle. This occurs because they are using less EVs than optimal. Now let's talk about smoking. I often duck out of the way and hold my breath when walking past a smoker. Secondhand smoke is an issue for third-party health and enjoyment. People who regularly breathe in secondhand smoke are also more likely to get diseases such as lung cancer and heart disease, just like the smokers themselves. Consuming tobacco negatively affects the public of Hong Kong. Here's the market graph. This is a negative consumption externality, so opposite of the EVs, marginal social benefit is less than marginal private benefit. Buyers consume where MPB equals MPC and not at the socially optimal price and quantity. There is also deadweight loss in this scenario due to the consumers buying more cigarettes than optimal. So what should we do? The goal for EVs is to increase consumption to the socially optimal amount, producing at PSO and QSO. There will be no more deadweight loss. Here are two private solutions to the externality. First is promotion. One cost is it's expensive to create pamphlets, ads, and advertisements. However, a benefit is that promoting the vehicles and associated positive impacts with the company's products will increase demand and consumption of electric vehicles. Also, they can implement chargers. It's very costly to implement these stations around the city, and you lose space for normal parking. But it makes EV more accessible to a wider audience, which is positive for the environment and third parties. Here are some government solutions. They can provide a per-unit subsidy for bus and taxi companies to use EVs. Spending this money on this cause has an opportunity cost elsewhere, but if public transportation gradually switches to EVs, it's natural that there will be a greater consumption of environmentally friendly vehicles. Also, they can do advertisement and education. It's expensive to advertise a cause to a wide audience in a big city, but citizens will be more informed of environmental concerns and are incentivized to buy and use e-vehicles. Lastly, they can implement first registration tax waivers, something Hong Kong has already done. A cost is that the government can't gain tax revenue if they waive FRT for consumers. However, consumers don't have to pay an initial fee when going EV and are incentivized to use EV. This corrects for the externality. I believe the most ideal solution is the per-unit subsidy for the bus and taxi companies. This is the most direct and assured way to increase consumption and therefore produce at the socially optimum amounts, which is the main goal to correct this positive externality. This subsidy creates little private cost to the transportation companies and has a great community benefit as production reaches the socially optimum quantity. Although it's expensive for the government, the environmental and third-party benefits outweigh the costs. Now let's go back to smoking. The goal is to decrease consumption to the socially optimal amount, producing at PSO and QSO. Then there will be no more deadweight loss. Here's one private solution. Tobacco companies can design cigarette packaging that is not so appealing, with images of health risks and diseases induced by smoking. They can be more transparent. This way, there will be less demand and consumption of tobacco. They will have fewer customers, but this is what is required to reach the social optimum quantity by private solution. Now here are some government solutions. They can implement a tobacco tax or duty as they already have in Hong Kong. Cigarettes become more expensive for buyers, but third parties will not have to deal with secondhand smoke. and the smokers consuming less smoke will also be healthier. The government can use tax revenue on other things, which is a big plus. They can also do education and advertising. It's expensive, again, to sponsor education about smoking detriments and anti-smoking ads, but this reduces the amount of smoking and reduces third-party cost. Finally, they can have regulations for more no-smoking areas. The prohibition of smoking in more places is unfavorable to producers and consumers, but there are health benefits to all and a better quality of life for third parties. The WHO says that every 10% increase in tobacco price will reduce overall tobacco consumption by 4% in high-income countries, like Hong Kong. So it's commonly understood that tobacco tax or duty is the most effective method of reducing tobacco use. Although this tax has costs to the private companies and the regular tobacco customers, the third-party benefits and overall health benefits to society are so large that they outweigh these costs. Some sacrifices must be made for the greater good. This is the best method to correct this negative externality. In conclusion, we can use theoretical market graphs to map out externalities we face in Hong Kong, and we can brainstorm possible solutions to these market failures. We must take into account the costs and benefits of these actions, and we must take action to make Hong Kong a healthier city. Thank you for listening.